All right, let us go. Let's get it popping. Yeah. Yeah. Get in here. Get in here, everybody. Get in here. It's time for a legendary show. Woo. Yes. Hello, mother. Hello. Get in here. Let me make sure I got a little bit of hee-haw in my life. A little bit of hee-haw in my life. A little bit of color on my life. Yeah. Okay. What is popping, everybody? What is popping? It is time to get into... What is this doing? It's just always doing that. All right. It is time to get into some things. I want to make sure you guys can all hear me. Each and every one of you guys can hear what we're about to get into, because we are going to be talking about Nicki Minaj, all right, and her interview with Joe Budden. Okay, I got my little drink here. So I'm going to try to take my time with this. So I'll be probably looking at my phone a lot because I did make some like bullet point notes in my little notepad. And if you guys can see it, I don't know if you guys can't see that, but I got a lot of notes. Okay. So I was debating on if I was going to, do this behind the thumbnail, but I just decided to go ahead and start talking with you guys here. Hold on, let me make sure. All right, volume is good. All right, so we're going to get into some things, okay? And we're going to break down this Nicki Minaj, Joe Budden conversation, all right? And I'm going to do my best to kind of just... because my mind was kind of going everywhere with the conversation. So I just kind of want you guys to kind of get what was going on with my thought process. Now, I'm going to just try to break down what I felt like were good parts for the interview from me. And then we can get into like what you guys believe was shade, what you guys didn't believe was shade, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So let's just get into the interview. Here's my thoughts. I personally feel like this was a fantastic interview on both Nicki's side and Joe Budden's side. Okay. I think that we got a lot here. All right. I wrote an overall theme of the interview for me. For me, the interview was like a full circle moment. I wrote overall message of the interview. It's like a full circle for Nicki Minaj. It was almost like she had this realization at some point, that the industry or the people, whoever the powers at be, will kind of like replace you and remove you and put someone else into your position. I also wrote down like she really felt her Lil Kim moment. She was feeling her Lil Kim moment, right? And so now, but she's just a little bit stronger to where like she's not gonna really back up and give up. I felt like Papa Bear kind of ignited that second wind in her, because I do feel like Nicki Minaj was almost all the way out the door until watching this interview. But I feel like this was a full circle moment for her, because I think that in this interview, we seen a woman that realizes that you can and will be replaced, and you need your people. And it's not just your people as in your fans. You need your people as in your community. You need, and to transcend just the community, you need industry connections. You need allies. So I think that this was a moment where Nicki Minaj was building back her foundation, her people, industry connects, industry relationships, allies. This wasn't about the barbs. This wasn't about her core. She gave them something, but this was about like a Nicki Minaj rebrand. Nicki Minaj 2.0, the mother. Nicki Minaj, the woman who went through a Lil Kim era, but is not wanting to fully go through a Lil Kim era. And so this was a Nicki Minaj, while still being very much so Nicki, even being cryptic at some points. I seen this Nicki Minaj understanding that, hey, I did need to humble myself. Hey, I'm going to take some accountability for things. And so I really appreciated this conversation. You know what I mean? It was good. Now, some people may say, well, it was strategy, whatever. To me, she's listening. She has her publicist right there. She's locked in and she's loaded, right? So this is a great space for Nicki Minaj to be in. And I think in this space, she will do great work. And so the overall feeling of this interview, again, for me was a full circle moment. You know, Nicki Minaj getting her people back, building her relationships and her allies within the industry, some of the general public, and strengthening her core. That's kind of what this gave me. So she admitted, well, we already knew this, but she, it kind of started off with Joe Budden asking her, you know, are there any things that she kind of, like regrets or, wish she would have done differently. And she said she wished she would have appreciated moments more, and she would have appreciated her body more. She admitted to having, butt shots and altering and, her body. That was something that I don't think I've ever heard her say. Maybe she talks about the shots wearing off, but I don't ever remember her saying, hey, I went and got this stuff done because I felt like this is what I had to do to be successful. This was the insecurity that I had. And when people would make fun of me, it made me feel like I needed to go alter my body. She did that. And many girls do that. Many of our favorite girls have some sort of cosmetic work done. So I was really glad to see that she was open about that. She also said that she wished she would experience, like a little bit more moments with her family, real life. You know what I mean? She talked about how you sacrifice so much for the work. And, I can kind of relate to that. And I understood that because, when you are chasing a dream and when you are trying to be something, there are times you have to put so much hours and time into the content, whatever that is. You don't have time to go to the graduation. You don't have time to go to the birthday party. You may have to move to LA. You may have to move to New York. You may have to move away from your family. So I thought that was interesting that, what I took away from that was like really cherish those moments for the people that are around, because you're right. Before you realize it, people around you, they will start dying. And then you have to really look back and say, hey, while I was chasing X and XYZ dream or XYZ goal, was it worth it? Because here are some moments that I'll never get back with this person. And so that really hit home for me, because I just want to make sure that, I call my dad and I call my mom and I spend time with my nephews and my brothers and sisters, and at least call them or try to make time for them, because, when you're out here trying to build and trying to chase something, time moves quickly. Think about it. We're almost about to be in spring, summer 2020. Like, it was literally just 2022 years ago. Like, it seems like, where did the time go? So time moves fast. And so that was deep for me. And so, yeah, I wrote down, like, appreciate your family in small moments. You sacrifice a lot of time away from family. So enjoy the moment, enjoy the now, enjoy the present, so enjoy the journey is what I got from that as well. Something else that was very interesting. And this is where I want to tell you guys, listen, y'all be saying that I be capping on this platform, and I know what I know. I know what I know. Nicki Minaj is no fool. She knows that her music and stuff was not hitting, okay? Now, there was a part there where they talked about, her having, like, deals outside of music. And she also talked about basically how she kind of regretted not starting that stuff sooner, like makeup deals, cosmetic, whatever, hair, whatever things that can cause, she wished she would have got on her Rihanna, her Kim Kardashian, her Kylie Jenner a long time ago, because she sells out, right? I feel like she's having a realization now, but she feels it's a little bit too late because she's not at her peak. I feel like she wished she would have done this when she was at a higher peak in her career. Right now, what she's having to do is build the momentum, build the desire, build the numbers for her, for people to want to work with her now. You know what I mean? In a way to where she can negotiate that premium dollar. And she actually said that. She said, Joe Budden asked her, like, well, are you negotiating deals? I mean, like, what's going on? Do you have things coming out? And she basically said, you don't want to negotiate deals or money when the work isn't adding up. She said that. Basically, I wasn't putting out music. The music wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So I'm not going to negotiate at this point, not where I'm having writer's block and this, that, and the third. I need to negotiate when I am kind of peaking, while I am on an up, on a high. So I think that she's trying to get herself into that moment where she can ask for top dollar. I feel like if she's being real with herself right now, she knows that she probably can't ask for, or during that time, she probably couldn't ask for as much money as she wanted to, because it's just, she wasn't selling enough. She wasn't hot enough. She wasn't out. She wasn't relevant enough. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really interesting. I'm just going through my notes, and then girl, I'm gonna get into it. Now, one thing that was interesting about that, though, I want to get into, because they talked about, she did try to talk about how Billboard doesn't mean anything, and how, you get plaques for all these other platforms that your records go number one on, and how, it can just, that's just, being number two was good, and this and the third, and having a number one record, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to real rappers. And when people say who's one of the greatest rappers of all time, you don't say, well, who had the most number ones. Maybe you don't say who had the most number ones, but again, when you go and you try to sell a product, or when you try to get someone to do a collaboration with you, when you try to do business ventures outside of music, when you want to ask for premier dollar, guess what matters? Those Billboard number ones. Those things matter. We're not going to sit up here and act like Billboard records number one records don't mean anything, because they do. And they mean a lot of money. And you could ask for a lot of money when you have those type of accolades. We have to be very honest. So she kind of got me there, because she was, on one end, she was basically saying, I haven't really ventured out and started many other businesses because my work wasn't really selling. But then on the other hand, she kind of was like, well, those don't mean anything, in the category of rap, maybe not in the category of hip hop and rap, but when you want to talk about dollars and cents, those Billboard number ones help you negotiate premium dollar. Period. Now, let me just get this off too. Let me get that off. No, I'm gonna get that off. No, while we talking about it, I'm gonna get this off. One thing that I really appreciated about Nicki is that she also realized that a lot of her fans are delusional. Dummies, idiots, fools. She literally said, first of all, she said she's not going to say when the documentary is coming out, because she said her fans would literally make up dates about when it's supposed to drop. That's number one. And then she literally said, I said, Nicki addressed how her fans say you can pay to put your songs on radio, and that she doesn't want to do that. She said, and Nicki literally said that doesn't make any sense. She said, my fans will be out here saying that Nicki doesn't want to be on radio. Nicki doesn't want to pay for radio. That doesn't make sense. And then she also said, you can't just pay for radio. And she also said that Do We Have a Problem and Bust It has been supported by radio. And so many times we have these conversations here, and the Nicki Minaj fans will call in and say, well, Cardi B is paying for radio. Nicki Minaj is not getting any radio play. They just regurgitate shit that they've heard back in 2018. They're stupid. And it was really good for me to listen to Nicki because it was almost like she knows that a lot of them are dummies. And they just take what she says and they just keep regurgitating it until she says something different. But on the flip side, Nicki, you incited your people to think that you could pay for radio. Remember, sympathy and payola. That came from you. However, her new definition of payola, if you got into it, it is having those connections, having that support, having people rock with you. Okay? And we're getting there because that was the meat and potatoes of this all. Trends, support, black people. I'm just going through some of the bullet points where she mentioned other things, but we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of that too. So I just thought that was very, very interesting because it was like, on one hand, she's like, my fans they're a little bit delulu, right? Which they are. But on the other hand, it's almost like, well, girl, you ignited that in them. You did that. Okay. Hold on. I talked about how she felt like she didn't manage her time wisely outside of rap with makeup lines and her hair stuff. Hold on. Okay, again. The writer's block came up again. And I told you guys again, Drake was the reason why Nicki Minaj got pulled back out. So Nicki Minaj literally was in her Lil Kim era, 2021, whatever, those last few years, up until now, okay? And she was on her way out. Everybody kept saying rap ain't the same without Nicki, rap ain't the same without Nicki. Nicki didn't have it. She was stuck, she was lost. She was uninspired. Nothing was hitting. You guys thought I was making that up. No. It's clear. And I'm glad that she admitted that. And so what that tells me now, that she's a lot more focused and she's getting back into the groove. She's getting back into the groove of things. Right? And so I really wrote in big capital letters here. I said, Nicki Minaj is coming back. Because she talked about being a great rapper and how the records with Lil Baby, she felt like she needed to give rap records to her core. And I think that she does deserve that. For her core base, she gave 2 rap records. Right? And they're doing pretty well. I love Do We Have a Problem? Busted. It's kind of growing on me, but it's not my favorite. And they talked about, what it means for her to be a rapper. And she talked about rap is more about having, rap is about who has the best verse. She likes to get on records with men because she likes to have a sparring partner. Like she's a rapper's rapper. And I think that, and she's talked about being proud of that. And I think that a female rapper should be proud of that because not a lot of women rappers can do what she does when it comes to that. A lot of these women don't have that ability to do that. And so I think it's fair and she should be proud of that. Right? And she also basically said she's coming with crossover records. She was like, these 2 are my rap records. This is not even, this is a single, so this is a single rollout. This is a rap song rollout. This is not my crossover record rollout. I'm like, oh, This is not album rollout. So she seems locked and loaded, and she also seems centered with the plan. This energy from Nicki, I'm like, okay, we might have a problem because she's being strategic now. So the girls better get ready. And the girls better watch out because it seems as though she is locked in. So that's going to be good. And so I said Nicki Minaj is coming, but being strategic and taking her time. Okay? So I think that was really good. I thought that was a really good part to really kind of get into. And I felt like, oh, okay. Everything is being calculated. There's a lot of effort being put in here. She has some good people around her. She's listening. I like that. She talked about Kanye. She talked about getting into fashion and how Kanye West, and now this was interesting, how she was going to do a deal and she reached out to Kanye West to help her, like kind of basically broker the deal or partner up and do a deal with her. And in that, Kanye West basically was saying, well, I don't think I can do that because Kim Kardashian, my wife, might feel some type of way. And I don't need those problems. And Nicki Minaj's whole thing was, well, Kanye, when you can't get online and be talking about how you're the only black person in the room, when there's another black person, rapper, female, asking you for help, but you saying you can't do that because of your wife, which I get it. Who's going to argue with somebody over their wife or their kids? But it's the principle. But then it just makes Kanye look like one of those the wokest black man with the white wife. You know what I mean? It's all about black, but you sleeping with Snow White. So I kind of felt her on that because it's like, Kanye, you do all this black protected narrative and all we see you with is the snow bunnies. So you can't really talk about, being the only black in the room when then you have the ability to have blacks in the room, but then you like, oh, well, Kim is going to feel some type of way. And we don't even know if Kim actually going to feel some type of way. That was just your response. So, I can get why people side-eye Kanye sometimes because it's like, yeah, you're one of those black power guys, but then on the flip side, you got the white woman. You know what I mean? And so I kind of felt her on that because she was like, well, I felt like she was like, well, nigga, like you could work with me. We do all this. Black people need to have ownership and black people need to be in the rooms. Well, how can you help any black people out that are, and this is not a random black woman. This is a black woman that sells stuff. This is a black woman that's powerful, influential. She just so happens to be a woman. But Kanye, how can you help anybody black especially if they're a woman, or basically you just saying that you can't help nobody black if they're a woman because you married to Kim Kardashian and she ain't black. So if you're a woman and you have access and power and influence, he can't help you, even if you are black, because he's got a wife and she ain't black. That's it. That's heavy. Let that sink in, okay? So that was interesting to me because Kanye does a lot of this kind of black, and then now we find out little things like that, like you didn't really help her. So I thought that was interesting. Okay. Those are my little interesting parts. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, and I'm just gonna kind of like put all of this together. Now the biggest part of all of this to me was this conversation surrounding, like, what is the word I'm looking for? It was like respect or valid, like giving credit or validation. You know what I mean? Like this whole undertone of this thing was about giving Nicki Minaj her flowers with the subtle allow black people, or black people should be giving each other their flowers. And I'm with it. And then allowing people to be confident in who they are. And I was really with that. Like, hold on, because people like to call me like self-absorbed, this, that, and the third. So I like to get into that part. That part really resonated with me because, you know, it was kind of like this conversation about black people being crabs in a barrel, and black people not supporting each other, and black people not allowing each other to be confident and celebrate their wins. Now, there's times that I see it here on YouTube. You know, I can't come on and say and be happy about my accomplishments because somebody thinks that I'm being arrogant or I'm being a narcissist, or because I don't look like I have a booger in my nose and my teeth is all jacked up and I don't look like I'm farting on myself in the chair. You know what I mean? At some point, you know, people don't like me because I don't carry or look like the underdog. And so when I say I'm proud of an accomplishment, or I was a trendsetter in this area, I have to be a hater, or I have to be a narcissist, or I have to be arrogant. Like, we don't support. So I felt that, because I feel like that happens across the board within our community. And so as it pertains to Nicki Minaj, she basically was talking about how she had been dominating female rap for 10, 12 years consistently, right? And how some of the rappers before her and, you know, weren't really getting their flowers. She talked about how now a lot of the girls and rappers are just getting given Grammys, because now people, which I do agree with her, I think now we're having the conversation of, you know, right now protecting black people. Right now, Black Lives Matter. Right now, today, everybody is so he, she, we, they, them, gender non-conforming. Everything is so taboo. You can't be too mean, and you got to watch everything that you say. At any moment, you can be canceled. So I think now people are using their voice more than ever. People are supporting each other more. Black people are kind of like sticking up for one another, because so many of them, especially within the industry, so many of them felt like they have been snubbed from these opportunities when it comes to these awards and, you know, record sales and whatever the industry stuff is. And I think so now a lot of people are being rewarded and given certain things, you know? And so she's saying that, like, now people are being given Grammys. You know what I mean? And on one hand, I'm like, well, this is true. But then on the other hand, I'm like, girl, are you trying to downplay the Grammy because you don't have one? And I'm like, well, technically, I wouldn't go with that way. I don't think that she's downplaying it, because at the end of the day, she should have one. And so it almost does make the Grammys less as important when you have these other girls that haven't put in as much of the work, or have done or have done what Nicki Minaj has done and haven't been, you know, given the Grammy. It almost does make you feel like, you know what, this is a joke, because how can XYZ have these many Grammys, but Nicki Minaj has none? It just doesn't make sense. So it does make you look like something isn't right? So we also talked about how Nicki Minaj was a trendsetter for fashion and hair. She talked about how she wore the pink wigs. She talked about how she wore the hair black to the bottom, to the floor. She did do that. Rihanna and Nicki Minaj were very much so trendsetters with hair. Okay? Maybe not so much color. I don't know. She did come out with the pink, but I feel like, you know, Kim had all of that, whatever. But Nicki Minaj, people were doing that. Nicki Minaj, Black China, literally. Nicki Minaj birthed Black China. There was the Chinese bang with the black. That was the Nicki Minaj look. Nicki Minaj not only birthed the hair She started the bad body. Nicki Minaj started the word for me. She is the trendsetter of the bad B. If you think about what is a bad B, you think Nicki Minaj. She had the bad B, like she was the bad B. Like, this is what you thought. Okay, boom. This is it. She was the bad B poster child. And she just talked about how, you know, people don't like to give her flowers for that. She also talked about how, you know, whereas black people, like she could do something, but then Billie Eilish could do it. And Billie Eilish would get put on US Vogue, US American Vogue. Okay. And part of that reason is because black people would, anytime she would do something, they would say, oh, you ain't the first to that. You ain't do this. You ain't do that. And we would topple over each other instead of supporting each other. We would try to take it away and erase it. That was a heavy point, though. I like that she said that, because she was like, we should talk about when we set trends. We should talk about, you know, when we're influencing and when we're innovative. We should be able to talk about these things, and we as a community should support each other, because they will give it to a Kim Kardashian. They will give it to a Justin Bieber. They will give it to whoever else, and they will monetize it, and then it'll look like we never existed. I understood that. I understood that wholeheartedly. However, there was a point in the interview, I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting and I was waiting, because I'm like, okay, I understand this, Nicki. I understand where you're going with this. However, are you going to mention Lil Kim? Because if you do not mention Lil Kim, you are going to lose me in this argument. Here's why. Because we cannot, while everything that she is saying is true, as far as, you know, black people doing this and white people taking our stuff and, you know, putting it on other people and making them the face of our things, you have to understand a lot of people, not only, they didn't support Nicki Minaj, a lot of people didn't support her during that time, because there was a large fan base that she had pissed off. She had pissed off a lot of people. She had pissed off a lot of people in the industry. She had pissed off a lot of fans. So yes, you don't get to come over here and say that you're a trendsetter when it came across like you were over here trying to erase Lil Kim. You cannot come in the game thinking you're going to erase Lil Kim and try to have it like female rap influence started with you. That's not true. The female rap influence did not start with Nicki Minaj. And so I think earlier on in her career, it came across like she wanted it to look like female rap influence started with her. So a lot of times when she would be innovative, when she would do something new, when she would set a trend, people were like, nope, Kim did that first. Nope, Kim did this. Nope, Kim did that. Nope, Kim did that. So they would not give her flowers or give her credit, because she hadn't really given Kim hers. She hadn't made that right with Kim yet. And so there was a group of people, there was a community of people that did not forget that are still holding on to that. There's a group of industry people that did not forget that. So when we talk about supporting Nicki Minaj and bigging her up and doing that, you have to understand, yes, the white people are one thing. But then on the other hand, girl, you cannot act like you didn't come in here and try to make a whole person disappear. You did that. So here we are today. We're talking about Vogue now. US Vogue. She says that she should be on the cover of US Vogue. And She also said that she believes that Lil Kim should be on the cover of US Vogue. She's 100% correct. They should have been on the cover first. This is no shade. Now, some people, now we're getting into the shade. Now we're trying to see, we're moving into the shade. Now, a lot of people are saying Nicki Minaj was bitter because Cardi B was the first female rapper on Vogue. Okay? Hold on. I think this is US Vogue too. Here's the thing. It's not Cardi B's fault, right? It's not Cardi B's fault that she was on Vogue. So this is less about Cardi B than it is about principle. But 100% Lil Kim and Nicki Minaj should have definitely been on Vogue before Cardi B. It's no shade. It's no shade to Cardi B. These are just the facts. See, it would be different if this was, I don't know, Meg Thee Stallion talking, or Erica Banks, or somebody like that trying to say that, you know, they should have been on what. Nicki Minaj, you cannot deny the work that this woman has put in, whether you like her or you love her. You cannot deny the influence that Lil Kim has had. These are pioneers. These are two of the top female rappers of all time. They definitely, Nicki Minaj should have a Grammy. She should have had a Grammy before Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B, and she should have been on Vogue. It's no shade. Lil Kim has her Grammy. Lil Kim should have been on Vogue before Nicki Minaj. These are facts. And then two, let's just be very clear. As African, dark-skinned, African black women rappers, Lil Kim should have been on it. Listen, African American, I don't care how you want to look like me, should have been on the cover of US Vogue. It's no shade. Period. Kim should have definitely been there. Lil Kim literally is a fashion icon to this day. From hair, makeup, clothing, to this day, Kim is the fashion icon for the rap girls, in my opinion, and I am sticking to it. Period. And she should have been on there. It's no shade. It's no shade. It's no shade. Takes nothing away from Cardi B. Takes nothing away from Billie Eilish, or takes nothing away from Kim Kardashian, any of them. But Lil Kim should have been there. Nicki Minaj should have been on there. Nicki Minaj has put in the work. She's literally put in the work. And so when certain things like that don't happen, right? When you talk about a person, see, one thing that we could talk about is personality, which plays a big role into why certain things don't happen. This is why I feel like the overarching conversation of this is Nicki Minaj getting her people back, because I feel like a lot of things she did not get in her career is not because she doesn't have the talent. It's not because she doesn't have the influence. It's not because she doesn't have it. It's not because she's not a superstar. It's because the way she came in the game, and she's burnt a lot of bridges, and she's burnt a lot of relationship and a lot of allies. And so I think this is why relationships are so important, because if you don't have any relationships, it almost doesn't matter how talented you are. You won't get what's owed to you. Now, on one hand. Now, on the other hand, though, when we talk about things like the Grammy and Vogue and things like that, it does make a person side eye the validity of those things when you think about people that have come before, that have put in the work, that are more than qualified for the job to assume the position, but yet they don't get it. It's almost like, girl, how valid is this? Because it's like you're saying you could do this over here, but you don't see it for this one over here. It doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, you can give Megan Thee Stallion 4 Grammys. Nicki Minaj don't have none. You know what I mean? Cardi B could be on Vogue. Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim can't be on Vogue. It doesn't add up. It's no shade. This is the fact. So, you know, I felt her on that. Hold on, let me see what else I got. I put taking accountability. She said, I commend her. She said she wants to commend others and show others that they are important. So I think she's in a place right now where she's like, okay, I have to give a little to get a little. You know what I mean? I have to give a little to give a little. But do I think her and Kim are cool? I think that she realizes that she needs to go ahead and let that go. Right? And they talked about a verses. And she said that, again, like I said, but y'all like to listen to what other people say, I guess, when they have a bigger platform. Like, I ain't say this. So I'm going to say this again because I know y'all watched the interview. And I know y'all be on my Instagram. Who did I say that Nicki Minaj could do a verses with outside of Lil Kim? I said Missy Elliott. No. Now, what did Joe Budden say? There's only 2 people I can see you doing the verses with: Lil Kim, Missy Elliott. Maybe y'all respect it because Joe Budden said it. I said that before him. I did. But it was interesting. Now I feel like it's Kim though, because when he said it, he was like, I could just see you doing a bunch of hits and features, killing somebody with some hits and features. And she said, well, no. When I do a verses, I don't go into it like Nicki Minaj. I go into it like a rapper. And when I thought about that, I said, okay, so if we're going hit for hit, nostalgically, I would want to see maybe Nicki and Missy. I think Missy's catalog is a lot longer. But if we're going rapper to rapper, bar for bar, it's Nicki and Kim all day. In my opinion. So I think that would be great. I don't think that I don't think that her and Kim are beefing. I think that this is good now that they are in a place. I think that they definitely would make history doing that. I'm glad that she gave Kim her flowers. I am hoping that her and Cardi B could get to the next level. And I do see where people feel like she feels a little bit bitter towards Cardi B getting these accolades. Here's the thing. I don't know if it's bitter towards Cardi B out listening to her. I don't know if her and Cardi B will ever be able to be in a reasonable space, because I don't think that Nicki Minaj respects Cardi B as a female rapper. I don't think she respects her as an MC. You may not like Kim, but she know that she got to respect Kim. Because without Kim, there was no her. But I think it's something about Cardi B that I think that Nicki just can't take. I think if Megan Thee Stallion would have came and was able to do Cardi B's numbers, I think Nicki would have respect, even if she would have kind of felt like a little competition, she would throw a little shade. I think she would respect her pen and she would respect her as a rapper. There's something a little bit about, let's take the fighting out of it. She doesn't respect Cardi B's come up. And she doesn't respect her as being in line with the Lil Kim, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Queen of Rap conversation. She doesn't. I don't know if she ever will, if she ever could, but listening to her speak, she talked more about like being a rapper and how it's about how, you know, she loves the art of rap and this, that, and the third. And, you know, so listening to her, I'm just like, okay, she can get over the stuff with Kim, but everything that she was disputing, where as far as his Grammys and Billboard, these are all accomplishments Cardi kind of have. And so she doesn't respect how those things are being divvied out and how they're being acquired. In my opinion, this is from what I was listening, but overall, I felt like this was a solid interview. And it came full circle to me when she mentioned Lil Kim, because I'm like, girl, you cannot mention people supporting you or people not, you know, giving you your flowers because without, you know, you giving Lil Kim hers, because it did not start with you. And so the fact that she was able to give Kim that, it also let me know that, okay, Nicki is listening to her PR. They had a conversation. She's locked, she's loaded, she's centered. Now, I don't think she's as ready to go as we would hope, as we would like. She's still figuring things out. She's kind of like she's in her second win, right? You know what I mean? When you've been kind of out for a minute, but you kind of getting back in the game. You know, you shaking the dust off. She was a little rusty, but she back, like she's getting back in. Like she's trying to find her footing again. I could see it. Like she's older, but Nicki, from what I'm watching, like she was tapped out. Like she was out. She was booted out. The people had moved her aside. Girl, it's over for you. Get up out of here. We're done. She finished. It's moved on. But this Dewey, she got that C and Green, pumped her back up. These 2 records with Lil Baby kicked her into an algorithm. I think Papa Bear, that was my next point. I think her having this child really, I think if we wouldn't have gotten Papa Bear, I think that we would have lost Nicki Minaj. I think that this child of hers made her realize that she had more to do and she hadn't done all that she could do to make sure that he would never have to work again, or that his kids wouldn't have to really work again. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, really work. So I think that the child really made her say, girl, you know what? We gotta dust these old boots off. I ain't going out. I ain't giving up. We gonna shake this writer's block. I don't want to sound like everybody else. I ain't these other girls, but I'm gonna get back out here. And do we have a problem? Those were good, solid records, and they were received well on radio. And in the general public, people like it. She's performing. I think after this performance, she's going to be really on go mode. I think she was happy to see those pre-sale tickets sell out. So she's getting her mojo back. It's not quite there yet. She ain't fully charged yet, but she's charging. She's more than halfway, though. A little bit more than halfway. She's getting there. I think that she had a realization, though. Like I said earlier in the show, she had the realization like, wait a minute. I'm really in my Lil Kim era. Now, I love Kim. Kim wasn't able, though, but the only thing with Kim, though, I don't think that Kim was able to bounce back as strong or like, you know what I mean? Like, it, like, because Kim was already almost going, like, she had been gone when Nicki came out. Then she tried to come back and just didn't stick. Nicki was at the door, though. Nicki was at the door of out. And then some said, come back in the shot. Like, Nicki was literally right here, almost out the shot. Then some just said, come on. And so now she like right here. She ain't here yet, but she like right here. She's still coming, though. You know what I mean? And so I think the confidence is still there. I think her realizing that she's still trending every day is still there. I think these performances going well will be a help for her. And I think people now will start receiving her a lot better now because it seems like she's making a calculated, strategic plan to build relationships in the industry. She is trying to build allies because I think she realized that if you don't have allies or relationships and people outside of your core loving you, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how famous you are, how influential you are, you will not get the just dues that you feel that you deserve. And people will be looking to push you out because they don't like you. Okay? So, I do think this is going to be an interesting era for Nicki. I'm excited about it. And yeah, so those are my thoughts on that. Now, I'm not going to take any calls on here. I will take some calls on StationHead. We're heading to StationHead right now. I want you guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to call in and give your opinion, head over to StationHead, okay? Let me set that live up right now because that last lady ruined it for us over here, child. I was going to do some calls, but that lady ruined it. So we on a no call show for a minute because y'all don't know how to do the calls right. Y'all do too much. Y'all do way too much. Hold on. Yes, I'm getting you guys the link right now. Here is the link. You guys can watch wherever you are. Just click the link. Hold on, y'all. Lemon Pepper says, I think Nicki doesn't like how much success Cardi has had as a hip-hop artist. It's not Cardi's fault. Nicki abandoned hip-hop for pop. I don't even think Nicki abandoned hip-hop for pop. I agree with what you said, though. I think that Nicki Minaj, a lot of people didn't like her. Cardi B came and Cardi B was able to get people to really care about her. They fell in love with her personality. Cardi B plays a nice game of, she knows how to do the personality thing. She knows how to be cool. She knows how to she knows how to build relationships. On top of the fact, she came in an era where social media was at an all-time high. She was funny. Cardi B, people fell in love with Cardi B's personality. And then her songs were dope. Her songs were bops. Like, her songs were bops. But I just don't think from a lyricist and MC and like a rapper's perspective, Nicki Minaj respects. And then let's just call it thing a thing. I'm not really here for the black or white or Hispanic. I don't really want to get into that because I don't really know. But what I will say is, some people don't believe that Cardi B is black. So there is this idea that there could be some sort of, okay, well, you take a black culture and then you put it on a racially ambiguous woman or Hispanic woman. We'll sell that. And so people can feel that way. And so that's why I think Nicki Minaj kept making mention to, as a black woman, you need to support a black woman, and a black woman should be on Vogue. And I do think that there needs to a female rapper, black, and it's no shade. It needs to be undeniably, not up for debate. Not Afro, like black, African American, whatever, nigga, black. On Vogue, rapper. And it needs to either be Nicki Minaj or Lil Kim, period. Needs to be. It's no shade. It's no shade. Like, the blackness doesn't need to be up for debate. It just needs to happen. Period. Okay. Hold on. All right, y'all. So we get into some things. Y'all can call in. Hold on. Nicki entitled about the Grammys and accolades. Many are. Look at her competition during her nominees. You are not the best when others are keeping the door closed on you. All right, y'all. So I'm going to wrap this here. And I will see y'all on the other side. Love you. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. But I'm literally going to StationHead right now. So click the link. Let's get into some things. We'll take some calls. We're going to get it popping. And I'm going to see you guys over there now. Click the link right now. Bye.
My way, all the pain that you caused, moving on, doing better.